Okay, so let's get right into it. We are living in, without a doubt, the most information-rich time in all of human history. I mean, we are just swimming in a sea of information. Think about it. Your daily routine is probably just a constant stream of content, right? It's coming at you from every single direction.
You know, you wake up, you're making your coffee, and you're probably already listening to some expert breaking down complex ideas about finance or philosophy.
And then, of course, there's YouTube. You've got video essays, tutorials, deep dives. You can learn how to do pretty much anything in just a few minutes.
And don't forget that endless scroll, right? Insightful threads, viral clips, all this bite-sized wisdom that's designed to be consumed super quickly and shared even faster. It never stops. So with all of this knowledge literally everywhere, we should be living in this golden age of wisdom, right? We've access to everything. But that brings up a really big question.
Yeah, if we have all the answers right there in our pocket, why do our habits, our decisions, and our results just stay the same so often? Well, this is where we find a really fascinating glitch in how our brains are wired. And this whole paradox, it has a name. It's called the knowledge illusion. And it's all about that gap, the gap between simply recognizing an idea and actually truly understanding it. And it turns out, our brains are kind of terrible at telling the difference.
No, seriously, your brain really struggles to separate that feeling of knowing from the reality of understanding. It's a super easy mistake for it to make, and it leads us right into this very specific cognitive trap. And this right here is the heart of it all. We mistake recognition for real comprehension. We hear a familiar idea, our brain goes, "Oh yeah, I know this," and we just move on. But here's the thing, we haven't actually learned anything. We've just recognized the label on the box without ever looking inside. So, how does our brain pull this off so well? Let's break down the mental shortcuts it takes that create this really powerful illusion. And it's not that we're lazy, it's that our brains are just incredibly efficient. Maybe a little too efficient for our own good. Okay, so first up is what's called the fluency illusion. When you listen to a really great speaker or a well-produced podcast, the information just feels smooth. It's easy to absorb. And your brain interprets that ease as mastery. It thinks, hey, this is so clear, I must really get it. But just recognizing the words isn't the same thing as actually knowing how the idea works.
And then there's a chemical reward going on. Every time you hear a neat little insight or a clean summary, you get a tiny hit of dopamine. It's the same chemical you get from actually finishing a task. So your brain gets the reward without doing any of the hard work. It feels like, yep, learning complete, even when no real thinking happened.
And this leads to this idea of borrowed intelligence. When a charismatic host lays out a really complex idea for you, you're temporarily borrowing their clear mental structure. It feels crystal clear in that moment. But the second the video ends, poof, that structure is gone, and you can't really rebuild the logic on your own. You didn't build understanding, you just rented it for a few minutes.
I mean, think about a piece of advice you've probably heard 1,000 times, like this one. Focus on long-term thinking, right? We've all heard it, everybody nods along, it makes total sense. But really, does it? You recognize the phrase, you totally agree with it, you might even quote it to a friend. But then the next day, are you still chasing those quick dopamine hits? Are you still avoiding that hard, boring work? Procrastinating on the big stuff? See, if your behavior doesn't change, then the idea was just information. It wasn't real understanding. So let's draw a really clear line in the sand here. What is the actual difference between just knowing something and truly understanding it? It's a way bigger deal than you might think. So on one side, you've got knowing. It's passive. You recognize an idea, you agree with it, maybe you can even quote it. But on the other side, you've got understanding. And that's active. That's when you can explain it in your own simple words. You can apply it. And here's the ultimate test. Your behavior actually changes because of it. That's the real proof. So here's the dangerous part. Just consuming more and more information feels like you're making progress. It's kind of like walking on a treadmill. You're putting in the time, you're sweating, you feel like you're moving forward, but you're not actually going anywhere. You're just getting really good at consuming. Okay, so how do we break out of this trap? How do we finally get off the information treadmill and start making real, actual progress? Well, it takes a deliberate shift from being a passive consumer to becoming an active participant in your own learning. So here's a simple 4-step plan. First, try to explain the idea to someone else, just using your own words. If you stumble, guess what? You just found the edge of your understanding. Second, take one small action. Turn one insight into one concrete step you can take today. Third, try to teach it. Teaching is one of the most powerful ways to find out what you don't really know. And finally, and this is the big one, change your ratio. Spend way less time consuming and more time executing. Seriously, 30 minutes of applying an idea is worth more than 3 hours of just listening to it. And this brings us to what might be the most important idea of this whole explainer. See, the problem in our world today, it isn't a lack of knowledge. It's really not that people are ignorant. The real issue is this: we are over-informed and under-applied. We are absolutely drowning in information, but we are starving for application. It's like we have all the blueprints to build an amazing life, but we spend all our time just collecting more and more blueprints instead of actually picking up a hammer and building something. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Information makes you feel intelligent, but it's application that actually makes you intelligent. So the next time you finish a podcast or an article, just ask yourself one simple question. How can I apply this? Because that's the question that turns knowledge into real, genuine understanding.